I'm Melanie Johnson along with my co-host Jenn Foster. We are both 13-time best-selling authors. We've published over 2,500 books and made all of our authors #1 bestsellers. We own Elite Online Publishing. If you want to become a best-selling author, look us up at eliteonlinepublishing.com. Now, welcome to the podcast that shares secrets from top industry experts that show you how to get lasting success and results. This is the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hi, this is Melanie Johnson. It is such an awesome day today, and we are so glad that you're here to join us. I have my business partner, Jenn Foster, here. We own Elite Online Publishing. Jenn, how are you doing?
It's a great day. I'm excited to be here.
Me too. It's just fabulous. And we have a fabulous guest today. She is, I'm going to call her like the queen of networking for women businesses who make 6 figures and more. And we're going to talk about how the sense of community for women business owners is so important, how to connect to her company, the Dames, which we're connected to as well. It's an awesome group. They have these power partners. And we're going to talk about how all of us together can rise each other up and create better businesses for all of us. Meghann Conter, thank you for coming so much. Thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here with you two fun ladies. I think it's going to be a fun show.
For sure.
Yeah,
that's what
tell
you're
us.
known for, laughing, right? Having fun and building your business at the same time.
That is what we need, more laughter for sure. Well, tell us, Meghann, how you got started in the Dames and how this all came about.
Yes, so I have had my own marketing consulting business since 2010. Started that business in the recession. If you can make it through that, you can make it through anything. That's how I feel. I call it the ramen years, those first few years. But as I was growing my business, I got to about 2015 and I was running a 6-figure company, wanting to grow to that 7-figure mark, and had always been networking. I'm definitely an in-person connection kind of gal whenever I can. I've learned to become a virtual connection kind of gal, which is beautiful. And that's what we're teaching at the Dames. But I was running this business and I couldn't find my peers. Most of the women that I would run into at networking events were, just started their businesses, or they were selling a multi-level marketing product, or they were in a sales role for a larger company. I couldn't find those women who had built their businesses from the ground up and had some of the battle scars of, those initial years of getting the proof of concept. And I'm like, you know what? This can't be possible. This can't be just that women don't want community after a certain point of business growth. It can't be that. So what is going on here? Well, I frequently found myself when I would go to these networking events, like huddled up in a ball in the corner afterwards, feeling like I'd just been lacerated with business card stabbers. And, it was just this feeling of, gosh, they've been picking my brain all night long, and what's in it for me? And so I started to ask around to the other women that I knew who had gotten past that initial 6 figures and were continuing to grow, what is it that you ladies experience? And they basically said the same exact thing. So I decided there's nothing here in Denver. I'm going to be a great entrepreneur and I'm going to create it. So we started out just here locally in Denver. We were Denver Dames, and we always have had female improv troupes or comedians or humor forward speakers that perform at our events to really help us break open and connect more authentically. Because I don't know about you ladies, but there are a lot of days where it feels very serious to be a business owner, like so much seriousness that it creates a lot of overwhelm and it creates a lot of stress. And so we have always had these fun events to help connect our female business owners, and education provided by our chapter presidents, and inspiration from women running 7-figure companies. So basically, as I continued to grow it here in Denver, we got the proof of concept all ironed out. And then in 2017, I had this big vision of growing internationally and having chapters worldwide. So we rebranded to the Dames, launched our online global platform that's now with members in 33 states and on 3 continents. And then in 2018, started launching our chapter model. So now we have 5 chapters across the United States and are growing that as well. That's the long and short of it. That's how I got to where I am today.
Well, I really love the concept, and especially for women business owners, we belong to other mastermind groups, but I love this one that it's not overwhelmingly big, but eventually it will get big. But it's, even if it's big though, you still feel like it's intimate.
Right.
like I call Houston's one of the top 10 biggest cities, but I call it the biggest, smallest city in the world. And because it's still, and I feel like that's the Dames, you know, it might be big, but it's still very small and you have these really good connections. Tell us some of the strategies that you feel like help women business owners within the Dames that you offer.
Yeah, so basically, after having run a lot of other women's networking groups and seeing a lot of the issues that I thought, I think I could do this better, I really recognize that that is one of the problems, right? We go into an event not knowing anyone, or we go into an online event not knowing anyone, and it makes it really intimidating for most women, not to mention it's really inefficient to just go around and meet a bunch of different random people. So I've always been about efficiency. How can I get to the 1 or 2 or 3 people that I need to know in this period of time? And then I can go and build relationships with those people and take it further. So what we do at the Dames is we cut out a lot of that initial hunting, hunting through a needle to find a haystack. Yeah, that's good. Hunting through a haystack to find a needle, and strategically match our members with the potential power partners that they need to know in order to grow their business, to get the resources they need, and to really enjoy everything a lot more as they're going along. Because women have a lot of fun with each other too, once we're in good relationship. So we're all about strategic matchmaking, and that's coming from the concept of understanding that if you can really form partnerships, we call them power partnerships, with women who maybe share the same target audience as you, or with a non-competing service, or maybe they're in the same line of business as you, for instance, 2 different realtors, but they have different areas of specialty. Mm-hmm. Or perhaps they're just designed in a fashion, in a business model that works well for masterminding together. And when you develop relationships with those kinds of people right off the bat, it makes it so much better to have what we call golden goose relationships that lay multiple golden eggs throughout the lifetime of your partnership, rather than going and hunting for your golden eggs at a networking event, which really just creates a negative, low vibrating energy and makes people feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah. I love that you're a matchmaking service. Like it's almost like business online dating kind of, but yes, not. Exactly. I love that.
I don't have to worry about the dating part of anything. That's the greatest.
They say just one connection can change your whole career, right? I mean, that one connection could lead to other things that changes the whole trajectory of your business. And what I really love about it, it's like we all rise up together by supporting each other and borrowing each other's list, or supporting, like, hey, I'm going to promote you to my list, you promote me to your list, and then we all rise up together. So I think that's really a key point. What are you seeing as some of the challenges in women-owned businesses today?
Gosh, there are so many, but one of the principles that we have in our mission is to get more women to that $1 million mark. And then we also have a contingency of members who are in director and VP roles at large corporations and nonprofits that are working toward the C-suite. And we see the same problems on both sides. We see a lot of mindset limitations. We see, of course, access to capital limitations, but also this whole idea of building a really strong, really smart strategic community. That's the biggest problem that we're solving. And then, of course, as you guys know, we do a lot of trainings. So we have personal and professional growth trainings that are really geared toward the needs, wants, and desires of our members at the level of where we're at. So running 6- and 7-figure businesses, we're not dealing with the initial, beginner level stuff. We're dealing with intermediate and advanced. So it's giving our members, we've created this specific ecosystem that gives them everything that they need to be successful. And really, it's this beauty of connection. Like you said, one connection can completely change the trajectory of your business. And I've experienced that at many different levels throughout my business. So it's really important that women in business, when they're facing these mindset issues or, facing limitations in their skills acquisition, that they have the place to go to get everything that they need and to have fun and be in a supportive environment at the same time. That's what the Dames is all about.
That's so important, especially, in these new times that we have with COVID and everything. Like, it's really important to have that community, to have that mastermind or that support person, whether it's your strategic partner or a group of people. So yes. Tell us, how does the chapters work? Do you meet once a month? Do we meet once a week? How does that work?
Yes. So we have 5 chapters in different markets, and you can go to our website, thedames.co, to see those chapters, and we're launching new ones all the time. But what's important there is when we started, we had in-person events, and those were every other month. And that was a great way for women to come together. High-performing women, generally speaking, love the fact that we only meet every 2 months because that's doable for them to come in person. But those are really high quality events. So at our local chapter levels now with COVID, we've obviously moved everything online. So we have really amazing, we call them virtual extravaganza events now for the different chapters. And we also have created strategic matchmaking events for the chapters. So we're still focused on those local level chapters where we have our chapter presidents that direct everybody in that local community to make those strategic connections. But more importantly, and well, not more importantly, equally as important, my vision is to build a global network, and it is a global network. And I think that that's one of the other problems that women are facing right now, is that they've been limiting themselves for a really long time, looking only at the 4 walls around them, so to speak, which is their state, or, looking at maybe their local area even more granularly. But if you can expand and really look at, wow, there's a whole country out here that I could work with of collaborators and of other clients, or even better, there's a whole world, everything changes. So we're dealing with a lot of interesting new changes now, obviously, in the world that we're in. I think virtual connection is something that, we started doing back in 2017, launching our global membership. And we have meetings every single week, so that toggles between our trainings and our connect hours and our $1 Million Power Hours. But we're connecting members all the time and giving them the opportunity to come wherever they can. And it's different, right? It's different to build connections online, but we're teaching our members how to do it effectively, because if women are just sitting and waiting for this whole thing to blow over, it's going to be a really long and painful road. Instead, we encourage you to build a connected community with like-minded women and really grow together. That's what you have the advantage of doing now, even easier than ever before.
Yeah, well, and when Zoom and video conferencing, whether you use Zoom or not, it is really nice, because even though you're not in person, you still can have that connection and the breakout rooms and the different things that that online video conferencing allows. So it is really good that you can actually connect with someone and be just in front of your computer, but be talking to someone in Australia or in, Michigan or New Jersey or wherever. Denver.
Yes, exactly. That's the beauty of all of this is, energetically speaking, not to get super woo-woo, but energy flows and we can get connected with people, even if it's through a video camera. So if you have this belief that I can't get connected to people, then that's your belief. And that's, it's like whether you can or you can't, whether you think you can or you can't, both are true. So really just understanding that you can make just as deep a connections with people you never meet in person, like Melanie and I have never met, you and I have never met, Jen, but we have this value exchange and this relationship that we continue to build where we can partner with each other on things. And like Melanie was saying earlier, being able to collaborate and drive traffic to each other, make our footprint bigger in a way that is just, it's such a no-brainer to really think about working with your fellow peers and meeting new people. It's amazing.
And I think it's pushed a lot of companies into innovation where they were not wanting to embrace innovation and technology. And now people don't have a choice. They have to embrace it or they're gonna disappear. I want to transition a little bit because you are the mistress of marketing, right? So, so let's talk about in this new world, innovation. We've come through the wormhole of COVID. What are some great marketing tips that you can give some of us entrepreneurs in 6- and 7-figure business, or let's say a 6-figure business wanting to get to 7 figures?
So what I've really found and focused on in my marketing business is on the foundation. And what I find 99% of the time is that women business owners are not experts in marketing, unless they have their own marketing firm, obviously. But most of them who are subject matter experts aren't experts in marketing. So they kind of glaze right over building a really strong brand and marketing foundation. And then they jump to, okay, what tactics do I need to implement? And that's going to always cause a lot of problems. So as it's always been, having a really strong foundation of understanding, what your mission, vision, and values are that are your guiding light to help you get where you're headed, who your target audience is, and knowing that deeply and intimately down to the most detailed demographics, psychographics, and behavioral information, and then understanding what your brand is, like what makes you different from everyone else, and how do you position yourself so that you're unique and authentic. And all of that coming together to create this unique packaging, pricing, and positioning of your offerings that really is so easy for you to sell and your company to sell, because it's exactly who you are and it's geared toward the needs, wants, and desires of your target audience. And it helps you achieve those goals. All of these things, the financials, everything all needs to fit together to build a strong foundation. Otherwise, you can try all the marketing tactics in the world, which most of the time is like people blindfolding themselves and throwing stuff up against the wall to see what sticks. You can try all the tactics in the world and you'll just continue to get more and more upset with your marketing not working. That's just what happens. So what I can say first and foremost is really make sure that you've looked at your messaging, you've looked at your, like the brand that you've developed and the way that you've packaged, price, and position yourself, and make sure that it's right for your next catapult. It's probably, if it's been right for the last 5 to 10 years, it probably needs some refresh. That's the biggest thing I can say, is make sure that you've got your ducks in a row at this point.
I think Melanie's taking notes.
I am. I love package, price, and position yourself in the marketplace, right? The 3 P's, package, price, and position.
I love that.
I think that's so important in understanding your brand and your target audience. Tell us what you think about how do I figure out for a company, where should I be focusing on social media? How do I decide between LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, podcasting? It's very confusing to a lot of companies. I mean, we specialize in that for our authors, but how do you direct somebody to go through to the minefield of social media?
Yeah, the largest part here has always been understanding your target audience. So it's this intersection of knowing your target audience, surveying them, finding out what platforms they spend their time on, and then going to those networks. The second factor, of course, is where are you going to be good? So you have to think about, there's all these other factors that fill in too, like your budget. But I've always, when I've been asked, what kinds of content marketing should I do? Like the first question you should ask yourself is, where am I best going to represent myself? When I speak on video, is it like watching paint dry, or is it very enthusiastic and exciting? Do people want to watch that? Yeah. Or when you speak, on a podcast, do you have a voice that people listen to and that they're excited by? Or again, are you monotone like the guy in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Or are you an excellent writer, and so you can really explain and establish these concepts? That then also filters into, do you have the budget to have somebody else help you to do multiple different things? So we have to look at all these different factors, not just you should all be on TikTok or you should all be on this blanket recommendation never works. You really have to understand yourself, your company, your budget, your abilities, and then especially your target audience and where they're going to actually be to consume your materials. If you're spending all your time, money, and energy on TikTok, and your target audience is, women in their 50s and 60s, there's a giant disconnect there, because there's not a whole heck of a lot of women in their 50s and 60s on TikTok. Yeah. So there's a lot of different factors that come to play there.
I like that you said that, because, all the teenagers in 20 and, almost, I'd say the mid 20s are on TikTok. But there is some older people on there, but you really have to target in on that niche of who your target audience is. And maybe some of them are on TikTok and you can target them there, but you want to make sure that you're on the right medium. So if your business has nothing to do with, stuff on LinkedIn, then you wouldn't want to be posting too much on LinkedIn. Right. If you're not business more oriented, if your target audience is, if you're a closet organizer, you're not going to find too much business on LinkedIn unless your target audience is actual businesses or CEOs or that type of thing, right?
Right, exactly. If you're a personal organizer, there's things like Amazon that has all different kinds of ways of finding new clients. There's niche tactics that fall in once you really understand what your niche market is. But that's the first thing. And if you don't know that, then I call it the domino. Once you knock that domino over, everything else in marketing afterwards happens so much easier. So much easier.
Yeah, I agree. It's just finding that domino. Talk to
Yep.
us about the transition from 6 to 7 figures. How do you jump from 6 to 7 figures? What does a company need to do or have the ability to do to get there?
Yeah, there are a lot of factors there too. There's, first of all, let's just talk about for females, obviously, women-owned businesses. A lot of things that really hold us back have to do with our mindset. So I really believe, and I've seen this time and time again, that the degree to which you can grow your business is the degree to which you are growing yourself professionally and personally. So if you yourself are not going in deep and really digging deep, finding all those things that need to be worked on and working on them, then getting aligned with where it is that you're headed, dreaming as much as possible, and then start moving your feet toward that dream. That's what you've really got to do on a consistent basis. And I've seen a lot of women who aren't unwilling to do that work. And that's always going to cause the biggest break, the biggest rift in actually making progress. Then you've got to look at the professional side of things, right? In scaling a business, there's a lot of different factors to look at, but you've got to hire people. You've got to not be the only one doing all of the things and trying to be the cook, the cleaner, and the bottle washer, or whatever the heck that saying is. You've got to start hiring the right people to sit in the right seats in the bus. You've got to know how to forecast and how to how to budget. You've got to understand what a budget is. I mean, it's amazing how many business owners don't know when you say, what's your marketing budget? I'm sure you guys run into this all the time. They look like a deer in headlights. It's like, I don't know what my budget is. You've got to have the financial understanding and the marketing understanding, the operational understanding. You've got to have the systems and processes so that things can be repeated. What I see altogether too often is looking at the way that women have packaged and priced themselves is that they've got 42 different flavors when they haven't yet mastered one or two of them. So really getting down to understanding what are my core offerings that I should just be doing on repeat that then I could teach someone else how to do as well so that I can scale myself if I'm a coach or consultant. Or, if I'm in a business where we have multiple lawyers or multiple CPAs, how can we package ourselves and price so that our clients have almost more of an expectation of what they're going to pay each month. They're not going to be blindsided by, hourly rates that fluctuate and change. So there's all these different factors on the operational side, on the marketing side that really need to be in line. I think that some of the best books to look into when you're growing from 6 to 7 figures are Traction. That's the one that really pops out as one of the biggest. But then Mike Michalowicz has a suite of books. Profit First is one of my favorite. He's written, The Pumpkin Plan, Toilet Paper Entrepreneur, all of these books that really help you get your systems, your processes, your finances, your marketing, everything in line so that you can scale and grow to that next level. There's a lot of the personal and professional growth topics that kind of all filter in, and everybody has our own sweet, unique, let's say, equation of what we need in order to grow.
And I find it's kind of challenging because as a small business owner, you're before you have those employees and things, you're chasing your tail because you're doing all the busy work. And then it's hard to transition to work on your business because you're trying to keep everything else afloat. You're like, there's not enough hours in the day and I'm exhausted. And how do I get it? But it's just getting to that state, taking that step back and just saying, we've got to bite the bullet, take it one, like, okay, now we're going to hire an employee. What do we need to hire that employee? Do we need training manuals? Do we need videos to train them? How much time do we need to train them? And how do we look for the right people and just focus on that? And we find as single moms too, that it's hard to let go because we're used to being in control of everything that we do and making all the decisions. When you don't have that other partner in the house, you're making all the decisions like, oh, it's just easier to do myself. And so it's a challenge. I imagine other women business owners are having that same challenge too. I
think what women tend to do also, we could talk about this for hours, but if you look back at who we've had to model from, it's been a lot of men, right? So for centuries, it's been men that have grown and scaled businesses. And if women try to do it the same way, oftentimes a vast majority of us will not be successful. We're not built the same feminine energy is very different than masculine energy. The way that we will be able to run a marathon is going to be different than the things that they need to do to run a marathon. And I think that women fall way too often into this trap of thinking that they've got to just warrior on, put on more armor and continue to plow through everything, where oftentimes we're trying to do way too much. And like you said, Melanie, yes, it's hard to delegate. It's hard to get these things off of our plate when we feel like the only way we can do this is by keeping all the plates spinning. Mm-hmm. And what I can tell you is that my journey in the last 2 years has shown me that the more plates I try to spin, the less successful I am. And the more, I have this sticky note that's sitting right in front of me. It says, the more I relax, the more money I make. The more I relax, the bigger the moves. And I've been working with Kate Northrup's Do Less energy tracker and planner for the last month or so. And I'm actually learning to really, truly slow down even more than I've ever done before. And it's amazing how things are just lining up and working in my favor. And I myself feel like a sane person. It's amazing. I don't feel like a crazy, Tasmanian devil running around as much anymore. And so I think that women have got to look at, okay, am I modeling myself after what my father used to do, or after what all of these men who've written a lot of these books do? Or can I really do this with my own sweet secret sauce and in my own way, so that I can sustain and I can actually live a life that I really want to live too? It's not just about business.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of having that balance and making sure that you are delegating to those who you don't need to do that work. Like, you don't need to clean the toilet. So get a maid. She can just come once a month or once a week, and it doesn't have to be a ton of money. One of our mentors and clients, Laura Langmeyer, she always says that, she's like, if you don't have helpers, if you don't have people helping you, you're not going to make it to $1 million or 7 figures. You have to have people helping you. You have to have a team, and to have that team to delegate things to do, so you can have that balanced life. So you don't feel like you're, having that armor rushing through, battling your whole, the whole year. You got to have time to relax and slow down. Like you said, I love that.
Absolutely. I've always looked at my hourly rate as, being somewhere between $750 and $1,000 an hour. So if I look at it that way, and I'm spending time cleaning my toilets, or I'm spending time, doing XYZ, when I could pay somebody $20 an hour, why am I doing that? Is that really the smartest decision for me? And is that going to get me where I'm headed? Probably not.
Right.
Exactly. So I would like to take just this last part of this interview that we talked about. It should be transcribed, and it should be the first part of your book. I was like, okay, I hope everyone's like recording it, transcribing it. That was so powerful. All the information that you just gave. I just loved it.
I love it too. Well, tell us, Meghann, where can people go to find you and to get in touch with the Dames?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find the Dames at www.thedames.co. There's no M there. And check out the /join virtual, which is our membership that allows you to join from anywhere in the world. You'll be, the first thing you'll do is apply, so that we can find out if you're a revenue fit as well as a culture fit. We're all about quality members. And so we want to make sure that everyone's going to be a really great collaborator in our network. And you can also find the Dames on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at the Dames Co. If you'd like to connect with me, I talk about all kinds of things. I've had quite the journey in spirituality. I quit drinking 3 years ago. I'm now processing and dealing with all kinds of other emotional things that come up, and I'm just an open book. So find me at Meghann Conter on Instagram, on Facebook, and I'm happy to connect. I'm just one of those people that believes that if we can share our story, we can help a lot of women and a lot of other people have far less shame and get there with a lot more fun.
I love it. Well, there you go. Another great show. You learned a ton. I was writing a bunch of notes in my notebook, so I'm sure you were writing notes too. The information is good if you're a women-owned business or a men-owned business. So check us out. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Leave us a note. We'd love to hear from you. And please share this podcast with your friends. And we'll see you next time. And remember, if you want to become a #1 bestseller, we guarantee it. If you qualify to be a part of Elite Online Publishing's publishing family.
Bye. Have a great day.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.